Hello and welcome back to another episode of the PVM focused Ultimate Ironman. In the last episode, we got to explore a little bit of bossing and get our first taste of getting some unique drops. If you're new to the series, make sure to check out the playlist in the description below that will have all of the episodes in one place. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I think we come here and we just use the spear on him. Can you help me with the Zamorakian weapons? Convert it into a spear for 300k. Oh my goodness, this is it. There it is. Okay, so we need to talk to him about something. Wow, this is pretty disappointing. I didn't realize I didn't have a Taibawana trio done, so I need to go do this quest real quick before I can actually equip the Zami Spear, which is kind of odd. I didn't realize that, but we're going to go do that real fast because that's kind of the next step. And then after we've fully completed it and we've got the Zami Hasta equipped, we will kind of be figuring out what we're going to do from there. Well, not the level I was expecting to get during this quest. But that is 71 fishing, so that's kind of interesting. I believe this is the end of the quest. So that is nice. We get some experience, not too bad. We got, I believe, yeah, 2 quest points, so we're at 203. And yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked I didn't complete this quest earlier. I don't know how I kind of missed this quest. I guess this isn't really a useful quest on an Ultimate Ironman because you're not really ever going to be fishing your own Karambwans, but nonetheless, we got it completed, so now we can go finish the Barbarian training. Okay, so I believe this time if we tell him about spears, he'll tell us how to make one. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so I messed it up and I accidentally, and let me drop a lot of this stuff. I accidentally made that before I was supposed to. So we're learning, but we'll be back again. Okay, so now we can make the Hasta. Okay, so now we talk to him. Can we wield it? Oh, we can wield it. Well, that was a little premature, but we're gonna go talk to him anyways, just to make sure we finish this up. We have officially equipped the Zami Hasta. I actually had to put a inventory tag on it because honestly without it, it's so hard to see it with the black background. But we have the Zami Hasta equipped officially and we are done with Zami. We will never be going back to Zami because honestly speaking, there isn't really anything else useful from Zami. Staff of the Dead, not very useful. You know, ideally late game you get a Kodai that can autocast Ancients. We've completed Zami God Wars. Essentially we got the Zami Hilt and the Zami Spear, the 2 items that are useful. And so I figured I'd talk a little bit about what the Zami Spear brings to the table. So if we look at the stats, we can notice that it's very similar to the whip. You know, the slash accuracy versus the stab accuracy are almost identical. However, what really makes the Zami Spear great is it has multiple attack styles. So it has plus 65 accuracy and crush, which is actually pretty significant and very useful. It also has the ability to be a slash weapon, and then its stab accuracy is just as good as the whip. And then it actually has decent defense bonuses, which are kind of useful for when you're doing things like AFK Slayer and you have, you know, you're just going for defense equipment like I am because I have the Ring of Suffering and I'll be getting a Barrow's Plate Body. And it makes it a lot more useful for just AFKing and just giving yourself increased defenses. And on top of that, it has +2 prayer bonus, which is not, you know, a big deal, but having +2 prayer bonus just kind of permanently there will add up over time through various activities that you're doing with melee. And, you know, in the long run, it's going to save you quite a bit of prayer. And then its melee strength is slightly lower, so if we look at the Abyssal Whip, it's actually 82, but the Zami Hasta being 75, meaning we're losing about 1.5 max hits, or 2 max hits, depending on kind of where your strength bonus ends up with your gear. And while this is obviously a DPS decrease, I think overall it's not significant, and just having the Zami Hasta is incredibly important for multiple things. So then kind of the other big thing that everyone kind of knows the Zami-Hasta is used for is making the Dragon Hunter Lance. The Dragon Hunter Lance is a late game item that is incredibly powerful in a lot of different scenarios. It's great against just dragons in general, Vorkath, Hydra, KBD, raids. It's got so many uses, and it's just really a powerful item in general, and it's definitely something we're going to be going for now that we have the Hasta. I guess I did forget to mention also one last thing, and this is kind of obvious about the Hasta, but the attack styles are a lot more limited on here versus really the Abyssal Whip or other weapons. So, I mean, the great thing is I'm already 99 strength, so I don't need to train strength, and the Abyssal Whip also couldn't train strength, so there really is no difference there. However, you can't actually train attack either with the Hasta, versus with the Whip you can train attack or defense. Okay, so what we will be doing next, and after kind of thinking about it real quick, we are going to go and get the spined armor set. I don't know how long this will take. I don't think it takes too long. I think I can do all the kills right here on Waterbirth's dungeon, so I don't think I need to go any further than this. If I do, I'll just go get the pet rock. But I will be doing this because, one, I need to store the Abyssal Whip now. Now that I've completed the Legends quest and I have the Zami-Hasta, storing the Abyssal Whip will be very useful. And actually, since the more recent update to the costume room, I can actually get the full spine set in the event I ever want to use the whip, and I can store that spine set and drop the Legends cape whenever I need to. We were finally able to get everything we needed to make the complete spined armor set. And with that, we can store away the whip, and when we have the whip stored, we can go and put the spined armor in the house, which is really good and really convenient for us. The next few clips lost their audio, unfortunately, but the gist of what is happening is that I am preparing to do a lot of farming as well as begin to complete the Mauritania Hard Diary. So I'm doing a few different things. I need to get a couple of different seeds and prepare myself overall for completing the diary. So while we're here just doing agility in between farm runs, I figured I'd talk a little bit about where we're at. So outside of the diaries, we're just kind of doing our farming. We just finished our Catentines, so after we do the next farm run, we'll have about 250 because we'll be looting the ones we planted, which is great. That's a decent amount from 33 seeds. And then we're going to start planting our Aventos. We've already have like a stack of Aventos, which is why I'm going with this one next rather than the Irits. And plus they give more experience. So I'm hoping with just these Aventos finished up, we will actually have enough to get to 72 Herblore, because we're going to get some Herblore experience, probably about 20 to 25k from completing these diaries. So I'm going to do the math pretty soon to just identify if we'll make it or not, but I'm hoping we'll be able to get to 72. Alright, with this lap, we will be getting to 66 agility after this next obstacle. So with that, we can actually go do a +5 boost to 71 agility, which is a task for the Mauritania Hard Diary. Alright, I think we just used this on the flower patch and task completed. So we have finished the easy Mauritania Diary, meaning we can go collect our experience reward and the Mauritania legs. I still always find it quite funny that whenever you're going for a specific spice here in the open area, I just feel like you never get the spice you're looking for. So there is an off chance that we get this boost on one single stew. So let me just double check that this is in fact the chain we need to climb. So 71 and nope. Alright, so first quest done needed for the diary, In Search of the Mire Queue, and then I think we have up next In Aid of the Mire Queue. We just logged in for the day. As you can see, there's a new content poll Slayer changes that just arrived, and with that, one of the changes was the Abyssal Slayer helmet. So it looks a little different. Mostly the change of the mask is now orange, and I think the top is a little darker. I do like it. It's very cool. I think it's a bit more fitting with the style. I kind of wish, I don't know if the reds fit, but like the red from this versus the dragon boots, they're almost the same color, I think. All right, so we got it planted, and with that we are going to actually store our stuff inside of our desk storage, and then from there we will be going to do a game of Trouble Brewing. Okay, so the final score was 0-0. Interesting, but we got the medium task done, and with that we got the medium diary completed. So if we go look, we have both of those completed. We need to claim the rewards, and then the last one is just waiting to harvest the watermelons. Alright, so since we're just killing some time, I figured I would, I'm going to look at the collection log, but I also kind of wanted to talk about what we're going to be doing next. I probably mentioned this, but I kind of don't really have a roadmap anymore. I think I've kind of set myself up to do things freely as I want to, and there's a couple of large goals I want to work on, because there's just items that I've always dreamed of having on an Ironman, or not even an Ironman, but just really getting them in RuneScape in general, and especially getting them as my own drop will feel even more rewarding. So, I need to work on a couple of skills for PVM, like I need to get my herb lore up higher, I need to, work towards getting to brews in the really long term, and then outside of that, I mean, a lot of our skills are kind of already good to go. There are a few things we'll need to get, like we might need to get our agility up a little bit for some convenience. We're going to need to get fletching and smithing up to make adamant darts and bolts in the future. And then we're going to need to get fishing and cooking up to 80 plus so that we can actually fish minnows and get raw sharks for PVM. Okay, so we've got the easy and medium completed with just about the hard completed. So I'm just going to focus on the hard rewards. So with the hard rewards, you actually get unlimited teleports to Berg de Rot every day, or just all the time. This is actually a great way to get to Barrows if you're doing this really early on an account and you don't have the Barrows teleport unlocked. The Barrows teleport is honestly a lot closer to actually doing Barrows, so I would say that the Mauritania Legs 3 are not useful, because chances are if you can do the Mauritania Hard Diary, you can also boost to 83 magic and then make the portal in your house. And then another thing we get is the Bone Crusher. So I don't know who we talked to get the Bone Crusher. I believe it's probably someone over by the Ectofunctus, but the Bone Crusher is nice, especially during Slayer, because it actually restores your prayer in the catacombs, along with giving you half the prayer experience you would get for burying the bone. And you don't have to do anything, it's completely AFK, and charging it is relatively easy. So you can just stack up a ton of charges, do a lot of AFK Slayer tasks while praying in the catacombs, and you'll get all of your prayer. I mean, you'll extend your tasks and save a lot of prayer over time, and gain a bit of prayer experience. And for us, we're going to inevitably need to get to 77. So from 70 to 77, we're going to get tons of experience using the Bone Crusher, and I'm definitely going to use that during Slayer, because it's going to be very nice to have. So if we use these lamps, and I don't remember how much they give, but we do herb lore, 2500 experience, and then we do herb lore again, and we get 7500 experience. So we are very close to another level, and we will definitely get that when we do the hard diary. It's finally completed. We completed the hard task, and now the hard diaries are done. That's the Mauritania Legs 3. This is finally done. This is kind of where we're at with what's ready to go in the looting bag. So this can all fit in the looting bag right now, and there's no issues. So I'm really just thinking if there's anything I can get rid of right now. Alright, so we got our gear set up and our inventory sorted out. So we stored everything in the bag. We got 3 spaces, which is perfect for, the items we'll hopefully get from doing Barrows. Alright, first chest back. Let's see, do we get anything? Nope. Not bad though. Alright, first item back, which is kind of interesting because this actually, now that I'm thinking about it, might be decent if we get the staff again as well. Okay. Wow. That's a pretty big deal because that means we are 1 item away from completing Guthans, which will be storable right here in the master stash unit. Alright, so chest number 287 gets us the Torag's plate legs. So we have those here. That's gonna be an alk because we're definitely not storing the Torag's plate legs. And also, we have the Varix plate skirt, which is not necessarily better in terms of it's basically the same in terms of defense bonuses. This one has slightly higher magic bonus but less range, and this one has more range but slightly less magic. But outside of that, this has +4 prayer, which just automatically makes it a lot better. KC 300, nothing good. All right, so that's our first piece of Darox. Yeah, not a bad tank leg to have, but still no tank top, which I'm a little disappointed by. Alright, so we just finished buying more runes because we finished our trident. So if we look, we have 28 charges left. So with that, I mean, if we take this off, we got, I believe, 5 pieces in 55-ish KC or so. We also got the Torag's legs, which we did alk. But this is pretty good. And then if we look at the runes, we got, you know, a pretty decent amount of runes. We're going to have to use a decent amount right now to recharge the trident. But we still profited quite a lot of runes. So if we actually use this and we just max this out, so back to 2500, you know, this is kind of the profit of the runes that we ended up with. There's another item that puts us 1 away from completing a set. So I mean, we kind of just have to go until we complete a set. Like, I feel like there is just no other option at this point. So if we look at the collection log and we go to Barrows chests, we can see that in 316 Barrows chests, we have gotten a total of 18 uniques with a few duplicates. But if we really look, I mean, well, Varix we don't own the other 2 pieces anymore, but for Guthans we do have these 3 pieces. For Arims we do have these 3 pieces. We do not have the staff because I dropped it, or I alked it. And then for Carols we do have these 3 pieces as well. Alright, chest 353, and we got Torag's plate body, which means we actually finished the Torag set. So, as you can see in the chat box, I missed the message, but 86 defense. So, we are officially 115 combat, which means we could do raids and not be scaled down. I think 115 is where it caps at for scaling. It took us a really long time, but we finally got a final piece of a set that we can store away, which is the Aram staff. So we can store the Aram set in the master stash unit. This is a long time coming. We got so many duplicate pieces. We completed sets that we didn't have any of the pieces because we alked them previously. And overall, Barrows is a pretty fun time. I don't really mind it too much. It's relatively chill. And I'm just stoked that we finally have at least one set that we can stash away. So we're going to be alking them one by one. It's going to be a decent amount of GP. We could drop these over because Guthans is pretty expensive for the pieces. But, you know, all things considered, I'd rather have GP on this account. So while I finish bagging up some of my items, getting ready for the next thing we're going to be doing, which is the crystal keys. If you're unaware, which I think probably a lot of people are, because Deranged Archaeologist is not a common boss that's done, but Deranged Archaeologist does drop crystal keys at a decent rate. It's 1 in 18. So it's actually fairly fast to get the keys. It's a pretty relaxed boss. I think, you know, you just mage it, and since I have Trident, that will make it, you know, relatively easy. Alright, so this is going to be kind of the setup we're rocking with, because, to be honest, I'm hoping I'm not going to be here too long. I mean, if our luck is, you know, pretty average, this shouldn't take too long at all. So just to double check, we're going to look at the upgrade, and in order to do the fancy jewelry box, we do need 5 of each. So we need 5 combat bracelets and 5 skills necklaces. Alright, so first KC's finished. We got 25 rune knives. Pretty interesting drop. Don't really know if these are worth stacking, but I mean, I'll hold on to them for a little bit. I don't know how rare of a drop it is, but yeah. So, funnily enough, we ended up getting Runai limbs on KC number 8. So, yeah, in the future, when we get our fletching up a little bit, this will actually be a perfect spot if we ever need to get our rune crossbow back. Alright, so just a quick update. We're still killing Deranged Archaeologist. We're still just kind of hanging out. Okay, last update. I forgot to mention, but we did get 96... if we scroll up a little bit, I did get 96 hit points, which is pretty big. I mean, pretty big. We're getting close to 99. We've skipped ahead quite a bit, but we do have everything we need to get the jewelry box upgraded, and we've got the spicy stew boost. So now all it is just getting it built. I did fumble on accident and teleported out of my house after boosting because I thought that I did not get the level I needed. And it turns out we did, so we're gonna get that built. Alright, we got our fairy enchantment. We finished the fairy tale part 2. And with that, we need 10 mushrooms. I thought you only needed 1. You need 10. And I realized I wasn't going to go get the mushroom spore and then wait like 12 plus hours for at least 10 of them to grow and hopefully not die. So instead, I looked at the options of what you could do, and you can actually cut soliceps or mushrooms here on Fossil Island. So I've never done this before. I'm gonna have to look at a guide, but it looks like you just kind of cut along this path of the trees. Okay, we got 10 of them again. So we do need 85 construction to build the fairy ring. So if we look at the spot, it's actually 85 with 10 mushrooms and 1 fairy enchantment, which we have. But this does not require a saw to build. So because of that, we have to actually just get a +3 boost from 82. So if we're lucky, we get it on the first try, and we don't. Alright, so hopefully we get it and we have everything we need. Alright, we finally got the boost, so we can build the fairy ring in the house.